So now let's actually look at Anaconda. So as I said before, this has already been installed on my machine. So I'm going to go in here to Windows and then Anaconda 3, 64-bit. So you can see a couple different things got installed here. I've got Spider, which is an IDE or integrated development environment for Python. I've got a Jupyter notebook. I've got this Anaconda Navigator tool, and then I've got the PowerShell, and then the regular like Anaconda prompt. So if you go into Anaconda Navigator, I'm going to open that up real quick. This allows you to do some stuff that's like cloning environments, like adding modules, stuff like that. I actually don't use it that much, but I did just want to show it to you quickly. There we go. All right. So anyway, you can see here, you can. This is being slow. Anyway, I've got different environments. You can navigate to those different environments there. You can install different tools kind of automatically here. If you go into an environment, you can see what all different modules or packages are installed into it. Yep. So again, we're not really going to use that. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump out of here. So instead, what we're going to do is work at the command line. So I'm going to go into the PowerShell prompt. You could also just use the command prompt. It's fine either way. Okay, so what you can see here basically is it loads into your default directory, which for me is my user directory there. And this base here in parentheses means I'm in the base Python environment. So generally, the best thing to do is to not mess around with the base environment. You just leave that alone, and then you want to create little sandboxes or workspaces that do different types of projects or work in. And those are called Conda environments. So if you want to see what's on your machine currently, so I'm pulling up, I have a sheet of codes over here I'm using. So if you do Conda env list, this will list all the environments that are on your computer. Okay, so you can see these are their names. These are their locations. Note down here at the bottom, I have a few that are on a different path. So they're under app data local Esri, app data local Esri, app data local R mini. That's the same thing there, R mini. So basically all the ones on the lower end here, these were installed through different processes outside of Anaconda. So these ones were related to ArcGIS Pro, which is a software I have installed on my computer that has Python environment that installs with it. And this was using Miniconda, which is a smaller version of Anaconda. And these were set up through the software R, which can call out and use Python environments. So that's why these are a little bit different. They weren't actually created in Anaconda. All the other ones that are in the Anaconda 3 folder were actually set up using Anaconda. So real quick, if we go into that location, so we go into Anaconda 3, and then envs, and then there's all of our environments with all the different components and whatnot in there. So anyway, that's where basically all that stuff lives. Okay, so to actually activate, well, first off, I'll show you how to make an environment. This is just going to be like a dummy one. We're not really doing anything with it, but just want to show you how to do that. So to create a new environment, you just simply do conda create, and then -n or -name, either will work, and then give it a name. So I'm just going to call this example env. Make sure I've used that already. Example env2. So let's hit enter there. And then that's going to go through and build an environment. And generally these don't take super long. Okay. So once the environment is built, to actually use it or activate it, you want to do conda activate and then the name of the environment. So this is example env2. Okay. So now you can see over here that what was in parentheses changed. So now I have the environment name instead of the base environment. To see what like modules or packages are installed in an environment, you can do conda list, and then it'll list those out. And as you can see here, there's nothing because this is a new environment and I haven't really installed anything into it. So we're not going to use this environment again. I was just using it to show you how to create something. So in order to get back to the base environment, I'm going to do Conda deactivate, and then example env2, and that kicks us back to the base environment. So now I'm going to go into an environment that I already have set up that has a bunch of stuff installed into it. So to do that, I'm going to do Conda activate, and then I'm going to activate my West Virginia view environment. And you can see here again that changed. So let's see what I have installed in here. So we'll do Conda list and enter, and then we should see everything that's inside of that environment. Cool. Okay. So you can see there's a bunch of stuff installed here. So we can see, let's go back up to the top. So the name of the package, the version, the build, and then the channel that it came from. And these are all like from, using the Conda or like pip managers. Okay, so I'm going to back out of this again real quick. So I'm going to do Conda deactivate, and then West Virginia view. And I'm going to go back into the one I just made. So Conda activate example env2. Oop. See there, I gave it one that didn't exist. What did I do? Go back up here and see what my name was. Example env2. Why did I feel like that's right? It's something there. Oh, that actually was, the problem was I spelled Conda wrong. So Conda activate example env2. There we go. All right, so let's say I want to install something into here. And just for the heck of it, we'll do Numpy. So generally you want to look and see what it suggests. I'm going to go to the Numpy website here, and we'll do install. And you can see there's a couple different options. So we have we basically have a pip install. You can also install from Conda. You can install from Conda with a specific channel. I'm just going to do the Conda install right now. So we're going to do that. So we'll do Conda install Numpy. There we go. All right, so now we can see here that it's going to install it's going to try to install Numpy, and to install Numpy it needs to install some other things. You can see those here, and then again some new packages, and then it's going to ask you. So I'm going to hit yes, and then it will go through that installation process. Okay, so when it goes back to the cursor, that means that it did its install, and hopefully if you get any red text, that means there were errors, which you don't want. So you have to, if that's an issue, you have to go back and see what happened. Okay, so now if I go in here to Conda list, now you can see that environment, we didn't have anything installed into it before, now has all these other packages, so Numpy plus all these other things that it needed. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can install multiple things at once. You can do Conda install, and I'm just going to install a couple components. We'll do pandas and matplotlib. Yeah, we'll just do those two for now. So if you can list multiple packages or libraries to install at once. Here you can see that it's having to downgrade some packages for dependency reasons. Compatibility reasons, I guess. Okay, so anyway, that's just an example of installing multiple packages at once. All right, since this is a lot of packages to install, if you do this like stepwise, it's common to have issues with dependencies and versions and whatnot. So what I'm going to show you is another way to do an install from a currently working environment. Whoops, sorry, I had the wrong window up there. Okay, so let's say you have an environment that's working. So for me, it's this West Virginia view one. So I'm going to go back into that. So I'm going to do Conda, deactivate, example env2, back to the base, and I'll do Conda, activate, West Virginia view, and then we're going to do, let's see, we'll do, well, we don't need to list it. We already did that. So we're ready to basically make a copy of this environment. So to do that, I'm going to export the contents of the environment into a YAML file. So to do that, it's conda env export, and then give it a name. So I'm just call this West Virginia view copy.yml. And then it should save a copy of that environment. It's not really saving the environment, it's just saving the information about it. So I got my cursor back there, so that should mean it worked. So now I'm going to go into that location, and now I should have this West Virginia view copy YAML. So if I open that up, I'm just going to open up with a plain text editor. Basically, you can see what it does here is it lists out the name of the environment, the channels that were used, all the dependencies, and things that were installed through pip instead of conda, and then the location there. So basically you can take this file and you can use this to make a copy. So basically it'll download all of these packages and the same versions. So if I was going to do this on my own machine, I'd want to change the name because, as you see here, I already have that, right? So I'm just going to put a 3 on the end, and then I'm going to go down here and put a 3 on the end so it doesn't write in the same place there. I'll hit save. Now we can get out of that, and now I can do conda env. Sorry, we go out of this environment. So we do conda deactivate West Virginia view, back to the base, and then if I want to install that environment, I would just do conda env create f, which is basically meaning from file, and then the name of the file. And then if I run that, it should create a replica of that environment with whatever the new name was that I made up, right? So it would just be West Virginia view 3 since I changed it. So I'm going to run that right now because I already did it. It takes a while, like 10 or 15 minutes on my machine. But note that I'm going to provide a file like this for you, so you can try to just put that into your location, run this command, and it should replicate the environment that I use to like generate the class. Hopefully it'll work. No guarantee, but there's you may have to do some troubleshooting. This stuff's can get complicated, especially if you're trying to install a bunch of stuff in the same environment.